Hi, everybody. Party of Logic here. A lot of the times I pick my topics because of something that had recently happened in my life that we could talk about. And something recently happened this morning. On TikTok, I had a video taken down for violating community guidelines, but it specifically said bullying and harassment. And when they specifically say what community guideline was violated, it's because somebody reported it specifically. It wasn't just in general of TikTok. And the video, this is the part that I really want to talk about. Not that, listen, social media and just the incredible censorship happening on TikTok and Facebook is just absolutely ridiculous. That could be a whole other topic. But what I want to talk about is bullying and harassment. So the video, which I find this is the most ironic part of this, is the video was my journey on becoming a recovered Democrat and why I thought I was a Democrat and why I'm not anymore. And one of them was because I felt like the left, at first, the reason why I thought I was a Democrat is because I thought the left wanted to hear from everybody. They were the voice of open-mindedness and tolerance, and everybody had a voice, right? And now, if you don't think like them, talk like them, have an opinion like them, if you think any different than them, they want to silence you and censor you. And that's one of the major reasons I've left the left. It's the walk away campaign. It's Brandon, is it Straka? I don't know exactly how you say his last name, but I'm hoping to hook up with him at some point and have some sort of duet or something on TikTok, because I think him and I's story is very similar. He was also a Democrat and he started the walk away campaign. And that video, I actually talked about him and had him tagged in the comment section. And that video, and I appealed it, got taken down for bullying harassment. So here's the deal. Just because somebody thinks differently than you, has a different opinion, has different thoughts, has a different life, does not mean they're bullying, harassing when they share their opinions and their thoughts. And especially like when you talk about hate speech is not speech you specifically hate. That's not what hate speech means. And the problem with calling things harassment, bullying, hate speech, racism, when it actually isn't true racism and true hate speech and true bullying and true harassment, is you take away from when there is actual things that are racist, so on and so forth. So then you take away the meaning of the word, you take away the heaviness of the word. And then when you start to call everything you don't like those things, racist, bullying, hate speech, so on and so forth. And it does an injustice to those things because there is true racism. There is people who are bullied. There is harassment. There is true hate speech. And I don't condone any of that. But when you're calling anything you don't like those things, you do an injustice to those things that are true racism and true harassment. And that's probably the biggest frustrating part for me. And I love the quote, I've heard this many times, that never in the history of the world have the people who've done the censoring been the good guys. I don't understand why you would, and it goes against also like with truth. So there was a quote, I'm not going to get it quite right, but something about when you cut out a man's tongue, you don't prove him a liar. You prove you're afraid of what he's going to say. And I'm not getting that quote directly right, but truth doesn't mind being questioned, but lies don't like being challenged. And when you censor people who have different information, different opinions and thoughts and philosophies, then you're censoring diversity. Because you want diversity. A lot of people on the left they want diversity, but they don't want diversity in thought. And if you don't have diversity in thought, you have nothing. And everybody has a reason why they feel the way they do. It could be something from their life, personal experience, something somebody in their family has experienced. Everybody has come up with their own opinions and their own thoughts and ideas because of something that they have probably gone through or have not gone through in their lives. And one of the crazy things that I said in my video is, when I was on the left, I have a lot of friends all over the political spectrum. And when I was on the left, when I was a registered Democrat, I would have conversations with people on the right, and they'd be very respectful. They would listen to me, I would listen to them, and sometimes they would learn from me and I would learn from them. And it was a very interesting conversation. I want to surround myself with people who have different walks of life, who come from different places, different religions, different political affiliations. I don't want to live in an echo chamber. But now that I'm on the right, the people on the left don't want to hear from me. They don't want to have these respectful conversations. They don't want to have conversations with anybody that thinks differently than them. And not only do they not want to have conversations, they want to censor you. They want to cancel you. I've had a local group here that's tried to cancel me and affect my business negatively. And that's a very dangerous, slippery slope. I don't agree with censorship. Freedom of speech means you may hear things you don't like. Freedom of speech means everyone gets a voice. Everyone. I just saw, I'm going to look it up on my phone. I just saw somebody local who is very liberal who put this on their Facebook page, and I was actually quite shocked. I'm sure they think they're putting it, I'm sure they think it means something different than it actually does, to be honest with you. Or maybe they don't. Maybe I'm giving them too much credit, honestly. But this is what it said. Knowing when your voice is not needed in a conversation is an important form of discernment. So basically they're saying sometimes you don't need to use your voice. Sometimes your voice isn't important. And I find that really interesting because when I was on the left, I thought it was because we were the people of tolerance. We were the ones where we said everyone has a voice. Everyone. Now listen, I've never had an abortion, but I get to have a voice about abortion. I've never been involved in domestic abuse, but I get to have a voice about a domestic abuse. I'm not a lesbian, but I still support my LGBTQ community, and I have a voice about that. If it's happening in my world, in my neighborhood, in my country, I get to have a voice about that. That you think people don't get to have a voice, I can't even I don't even understand. Maybe somebody who has been involved in domestic abuse or abortion, their voice might be listened to more. But it doesn't mean that anybody who hasn't had that experience doesn't mean they don't get a voice. The fact that this person, and there's a lot of people like that, right? That don't think that you get to have a voice. What? Everyone gets a voice about anything to have a voice about. That's why we live in America. That's why we live here. And that's why I love living here, because of freedom of speech. We get to talk about whatever the heck we want. And you may not like what we have to say, but we get to say it. That's it. Party of logic.